There was a time when everything we needed fit in the palm of our hands. No doom scrolling, no ads every 5 seconds, just a screen, a game, and hours of imagination. Well, the other day I found my old iPod Touch and it made me wonder what happened to some of these old mobile games. Are they still as fun as I remembered, or have they been lost to time? To find out, I'm going to play 100 mobile games from my childhood and rate each one of them to see which ones still hold up and which ones have been left behind. So without further ado, let's begin with the classics, starting with the very first mobile game I ever played, Angry Birds. Made in 2009 by Rovio, Angry Birds was probably the most popular mobile game. It was so popular that it went on to release over 25 different games and 2 movies since its original launch. Now for this video, I did set myself some rules because I can't just go and play 25 different Angry Bird games. Rule number 1, I can only play games I actually played back then. This way I can avoid any nostalgia bias because I played every single one of these games. Rule number 2, I can only play each game for 20 minutes. I have 100 games to play and that is a lot of games and a lot of time. If a game can't satisfy me within those 20 minutes, then I'm sorry. TikTok has destroyed my attention span. But luckily for Angry Birds, the gameplay still slapped. The classic pull, aim, release loop to try and take out the pigs still scratched in my brain. I found myself chasing 3-star ratings, and if I didn't get it, I get an instant one more try addiction. I did pay $1 for the game, but it was $1 well spent, so final score, 4.7 out of 5 stars. Still a banger, still angry, still iconic. Let's see if the next game, Fruit Ninja, can live up to the bird-flinging legacy. Released in 2010, it was a game that required you to smudge your fingers across the screen to slice fruits, dodge bombs, and absolutely go ham when the pomegranate flew onto the screen. Oh, another pomegranate! Yo, 43? That's pretty big. It was quite a simple game, with the only thing that keeps you excited is trying to beat your own high score. On top of that, there was even a multiplayer mode, but... Oh, I'm playing against myself, bro. Oh my gosh, I thought we could actually play multiplayer. I only ran into one ad in the game, which was to give me a second life, but overall I was satisfied in those 20 minutes, so 4 stars. It made me feel like a real ninja. A fruit ninja. Yes, Cut the Rope, a game where you feed candy to a cute little green creature named Omnom using nothing but rope physics and the power of your big brain. Released in 2010, this game was a staple of mobile puzzle gaming. It made us feel smart and satisfied after solving a level. I was in the zone, cutting ropes, hitting bubbles, and timing swings just right until it happened. The wild ad appeared. I shook it off because one ad, that's manageable. I get it, Omnom's gotta eat, but then... Bro, another ad? This is crazy. I started getting ads within levels, and these ads were long. It felt like I was spending more time watching an ad than actually playing the game itself. It was right around the 5th ad when I paused. Were mobile games always like this? I couldn't remember when I had to sit through this many ads just to play a game. I'm sure there were ads back then, but there'd probably be a light version of the game and then you paid 99 cents for the full version. But somewhere along the line, things change. I don't know if it's for the better or worse because now more games are free, just filled with a ton of ads. But I do know the feelings are not quite the same, so for that, I have to give Cut the Rope a 1 star. I cut the rope and then I cut the app. Sorry Omnom, it's not you, it's the ads. But hey, not every game has fallen this far, right? Released in 2011 and before Subway Surfers, Minion Rush, and whatever Temple Run 2 became, this was the OG Endless Runner game. You tilt your screen trying to run away from literal demonic monkeys, but you know what you can't outrun? Ads. I would finish a run, offered a second chance by watching an ad, I'd say no thanks, and the game would still show me an ad. At least Temple Run had the decency to wait until the end of a round before slapping me with an ad. A low bar, but I respect it. 1.5 stars. The monkeys never want to eat me, they just want to show me an ad. Next up, we have the cool cousin of Endless Runners, Jetpack Joyride. Developed in 2011 by the same people who gave us Fruit Ninja, this game really knew how to reel you in. I was blessed with no ads for the first few rounds, a free mech suit on my second run, and a free revive. Sweet mama. I was genuinely excited to grind coins and lock stuff in the store, like there were actual goals and missions to look forward to completing. But then after 16 minutes of playing, the ads came, and you know what? It was annoying and in your face. They gave me an option to disable ads for $3, and I don't think that's that big of an ask. The gameplay itself still holds up. Dodging zappers, bouncing in different mech suits, and trying to beat your high score still gives an addictive rush, so it's an easy 4.2 stars. It's chaotic, satisfying, and just the right amount of dumb. Oh, what's that? Am I losing your attention? Well, let me just pop this right here. That's right, the next game we have is Subway Surfers. Released in 2012, this was the hit version of Endless Runners. You play as Jake, who has an outrunner guard after being caught vandalizing some train cars. You run, you dodge, you roll, and every once in a while you die because you swiped a millisecond too late. It looked like there was a themed event going on that involved Japan, which lets you unlock some exclusive characters, so that was something cool to work towards. The best part is, the whole entire time that I played, there wasn't a single ad that interrupted me. The only ads were from opening option wars, but those ads weren't forced upon you. It's simple, satisfying, and still holds up as a solid endless runner, so I'm giving it 4.1 stars. Speaking of simple, the next game might be a bit too simple, Flappy Bird. A game so addicting that the creator decided to remove it from the App Store because of its addictive nature. It required you to tap your screen to maneuver in between pipes, and if you hit any part of it, it was over. I was pretty bad at the game and I got a high score of like 16 and would spend the entire time trying to beat it. By the time I knew it, I had already played for 20 minutes. It might not look complicated, but it can sure make time flat by. 3 stars.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
This game was a cultural phenomenon, a game that somehow made death adorable. Did you guys know that Dumb Ways to Die was originally created as a public safety campaign for people to be safer on trains? This game sure does show a lot more ways to die than just from trains. You play as these jelly bean guys through a series of minigames trying to keep them from dying, but then... Okay, I get it, you gotta make money, but can't you put the ads after I use up all of my lives? Must I suffer death by ads before I can die from bees? The gameplay itself was pretty simple, so that's why I don't think adding ads every 2 minigames was necessary. They did add character customization now, which I thought was neat, but it wasn't neat enough to compensate for the amount of ads, so 2 stars. I died from the ads. Okay, listen, is it just me or does Candy Crush have some sort of dork pack with every mom on earth? Even my mom plays Candy Crush and she doesn't even play games. You match candies, they explode, then more candies fall, and then suddenly some guy in a velvet voice whispers in your ear.
Tasty.
I don't even know this guy, but he's making me blush as I'm mashing jelly beans. And I swear I had no idea what was happening half the time. I would match random things and then a chocolate tornado would get summoned on my screen and then somehow I won. But that's the thing with Candy Crush. It's colorful, chaotic, and feeds your brain with a little sugary rush every time a candy goes pop. And the best part, I didn't even get any forced ads while playing, so 4.5 stars. I think I know why moms play Candy Crush.
Tasty.
The next game was another classic, Doodle Jump. You play as a weird green alien thing and your only goal is to jump. Just jump forever until you can get a new high score. It's pretty simple and can get boring quite quick until I realized there's a multiplayer mode where you can actually compete with others. I was pretty excited when I matched with someone, but I got absolutely smoked. I matched with the same guy again the next round, but he left before the game started. He probably was the only guy online playing Doodle Jump multiplayer at the time. I kept playing by myself and at one point the game turned into a pixel Doodle Jumper. I didn't expect much going in, but the charm of this simple game and the fact that it has an online multiplayer mode, 4 stars. It was jumptastic. Next up is a game that lets you take care of a cat. That's right, it's My Talking Tom. Released in 2013, it was part of an era where virtual pet apps were massively popular. You don't just play this game, you raise this cat, make him eat, make him sleep, and watch him pee? Huh? Why did he just look back at me and smirk?
I'm Tomming it.
On top of taking care of him, there were also mini games you could play which were pretty basic. I just felt like there wasn't much of the game and there were ads as well, so 2 stars. He smirked at me while peeing. Now, we can't have Talking Tom without talking about Angela. Released in 2012, Talking Angela was a part of the Talking Tom universe, but unlike Tom, Angela's whole vibe was different because if you look directly into her eye, you can see.
Monday left me broken.
Why is she winking at me like that?
Why is she winking at me like that?
Dang, Angela, you got a deep voice.
Dang, Angela, you got a deep voice.
Hi, I'm Angela.
Hi, I'm Angela.
This was just a dating simulator if your date repeated every word you said back to you. But let's not forget, Angela was the subject of that creepy rumor back in the day where people said there was a man watching you through your camera. At one point, Angela looked at me and asked,
What secret are you hiding from me?
and that's when it hit me. There was a secret. One I've been hiding for over a decade. You see, in 2013, I uploaded my first YouTube video and in it I said if this video hits 1,000 views, I'll play Slenderman Forest on mobile. The video didn't hit 1,000 views. It hit 4,000 views. But I got scared, unlisted the video and never touched Slenderman Forest ever again. Angela knew that. She was always watching. So now more than a decade later, I'm going to fulfill my promise and face my fears of playing Slenderman at the end of this video. But for now, talking to Angela, 2 stars. There wasn't a man in her eye watching me, I think. And with that, we've played through 12 classic mobile games from the early 2010s. These mobile games were ones that everyone either had downloaded or knew about. But to make this journey even more interesting, I've decided to spice things up a bit. Rather than pitting every game against each other in a winner-takes-all scenario, I've created awards for each game category. And for our classic games category with a rating of 4.7 stars, the award goes to Angry Birds. You may not be as prevalent as you used to be, but thank you for still staying true to the gameplay. The next category, we're jumping into open world / adventure type of games where the objective isn't just to win but to explore, build, and let your imagination run wild. And what better way to start than Minecraft Pocket Edition? Started as a humble indie project by Marcus Pearson aka Notch, Minecraft has grown to become one of the best-selling games of all time with over 300 million copies sold. This game was my childhood. More than a decade later, I still play it to this day. So I did what any good Minecraft veteran would do. Loaded up a world, explored, punched some trees, and committed some mild pork-related crimes. Dang, dude, look at this. Look at this. It's like an entire waterfall, naturally world-generated. That's beautiful. As night fell, I built a cozy little campfire and just sat there, reminiscing of the past. Back in the day, there was actually a light version of Minecraft Pocket Edition that I played, and I remember for my dad's birthday, I created a world with a bunch of builds dedicated to him. When he joined the world, he didn't really understand it, but it still made for a fun time. That's the kind of game that Minecraft is, a game that forms core memories. Of course, the mobile controls are a bit of a pain. I don't think the game is that optimized because my frames would drop every now and then, so I will give it 4 stars. Thank you, Minecraft, for everything. Now, we can't have Minecraft without talking about its biggest competitor, Roblox. These two were the titans of kids gaming, and the crazy thing is they still are to this day. Back in the day, I was a Roblox fiend, playing it on my parents' iPad with probably the worst posture imaginable. First launched in 2006, it's a platform where users can create and play millions of unique worlds. From obbies to tycoons and breaking ankles in basketball to finding the One Piece, it's been a staple in online gaming for years. There's a lot of games in Roblox to choose from, but I joined this game called Grow a Garden because at the time it had 400,000 players online. And sorry if the footage looks a bit grainy, I recorded it in vertical mode by accident, but just imagine this is 2010 and you're getting that authentic vintage Roblox experience. This game allowed me to, of course, grow a garden. I buy seeds from the shop, plant the seeds, wait for it to grow, and then sell it for a profit. And then, of course, the cycle repeats until I had enough money to buy more exotic plants. Some people's gardens were really flourishing, and that's when I met this guy, and despite his name being Little Man, he was quite massive.
Little man!
Hello.
Nice garden.
Thanks.
How do I get big like you?
Time.
I wish him luck on farming, but then out of nowhere he gifted me an eggplant and a giant mango. I later learned the mango was worth 8,000 cents and the eggplant 12,000 cents. My strawberries only sold for 20 cents each, so I couldn't sell his gifts. I had to cherish them. And then 2 minutes later, without a word, this person named Magic Dino gifted me a rooster. Like, what is going on? Why is the Roblox farming community the nicest group of strangers I've ever met? The game itself was simple, but the people made it feel like something more. 5 stars. Little man gave me fruits and free wisdom. Now, let's talk about a 2D open world game, The Blockheads. Released in 2013, it was a sandbox game that blended crafting, mining, and survival. I spawned in as a man named Bill and would go through the tutorial of how to craft, survive, and conquer, but then nature had other plans. The tutorial told me to go gather sticks, but there were no trees anywhere close to me. I walked for quite literally 2 minutes until I found a tree. I got the sticks and walked all the way back to where my workbench was until it asked me, harvest 20 sticks? That's a lot of sticks. I wonder if there are any trees closer in this direction. Nope, the trees were not any closer in the left direction. By the time I got the sticks and came back, 20 minutes was basically already up. I probably got a really bad world generation, but 3 stars. I wish the trees were closer. The last game in this category is Eden World Builder. Released in 2010 before Minecraft PE was a thing, Eden was one of the earliest block-based building games in the App Store. There was no survival, no complex crafting, just you, your blocks, and your imagination. What I did like about Eden was that you could post your world online and people could visit it. I spent most of my time visiting other people's worlds, ranging from the most visited to some of the oldest worlds like this one from 2012. Going through each world was like strolling through a digital time capsule. The game does cost money, and to be honest, there's not much to do beyond placing blocks. It may not have aged like fine wine, but if you grew up with Eden, opening it again is like stepping into a lost civilization. 2 stars. Thank you for your service, Eden. And with that, we wrap up the open world / adventure category. Each of these games captured the feeling of freedom and exploration in their own way, but the one game that stood out the most was Roblox. The gameplay was smooth, the endless player-made experiences offer unlimited content, and the wholesome community moments still keep it thriving to this day. There was an era where virtual buddy games were booming. These are the games where you're not really trying to win, you're just interacting with a guy or a thing. I played a lot of these games as a kid for some reason. I think they deserve their own category. So let's meet some of these virtual companions of mine, starting with Kick the Buddy. The objective of this game was just to absolutely violate this ragdoll, shooting it in the head or blowing it up with a grenade. This is the type of game you play if you want to go to the rage room to release some anger, but instead you get more angry because literally every 30 seconds there was an ad. What is going on here? This is the worst ad I've ever seen. The game also offered me the chance to remove ads for $7.99 a week. A week? I'm sorry, if you're paying $7.99 a week to play Kick the Buddy, you don't need this game. You need a financial advisor. It wasn't even fun. 0 stars. Hopefully this next game, Office Jerk, will be better. This game just consists of you throwing random objects at this guy. It starts from piece of paper to pies all the way to an entire computer. It's like fun for 5 minutes and then it gets repetitive, but I just couldn't stop throwing things at him. Eventually I saved up enough to get a TNT, and man, what is this guy made of? He's literally 3 stars. Give this office worker a raise. So this next game, Office Zombies, is just a zombie version of Office Jerk. I feel like there was a big era of zombie games back then, so every company tried to capitalize on the zombie trend. I don't really have to explain much here, it's just throwing things at the zombie version of the guy, but this time the fan in this version makes it a lot harder. 2 stars. It's a slightly worse version of Office Jerk. You know, along with the zombie games movement, I think ninja games were also a big trend as well. Clumsy Ninja was another ragdoll companion game, but instead of torturing him, the main goal was to train him. It also turns out this clumsy ninja has lore. He's not just clumsy, but he's on a mission to rescue his girl Kira. I love that, so I trained him. I tossed him around a few times, he threw a few punches, and even earned a blue belt. It's honestly a cute game, but it did feel painfully slow. 4 stars. He may be clumsy, but he's got heart. Pocket God. Now, this game was first released in 2009, and it was one of the earliest viral mobile games where you played as an all-powerful god. But instead of blessing your followers, you mostly just mess with them. I mean, I guess there are a few times when you bless them. There's no real objective, at least I don't think there was. Kid me just like messing around with them, and coming back to this game again, I'm still just messing around with them. 3 stars. I don't think I'm cut out to be a god. Toca Hair Salon Christmas Edition. Originally released by Toca Boca, the Toca Hair Salon series was known for its open-ended creativity where you could cut, style, and dye the hair of quirky characters. While I couldn't find the original Toca Hair Salon game on the App Store anymore, I did find the Christmas edition buried in my app history, so naturally I fired it up and gave Santa a low taper fade. Oh, I just know Mrs. Claus is going to be very happy. Now, the Christmas tree though, I don't know why he looks sad. I gave him a perfectly fine haircut. 3.5 stars. Cutting virtual hair is so therapeutic. If you ever want to live your dream as a dentist, Tiny Dentist was the game for you. You're basically a kid dentist treating a parade of patients with the nastiest mouth imaginable. Cavities, plaques, missing teeth, you name it. It's low-key a chill game and pretty satisfying to see the end result. 3 stars. Remember to brush your teeth, kids. Alright, this last game is a bit different. Makeup Girl's Wedding Dress Up. Listen, I have a sister and we shared an iPad. You basically dress up a girl for her wedding day, do her makeup, pick her outfit, and you know, the whole say yes to the dress experience. I was just starting to figure things out, but then it hit me with a daily limit reached. I literally only played for 5 minutes, so yeah, chill game, decent visuals, but I wish I could have played more. 1 star. With 8 total games played, it's time to hand out the Virtual Buddy Trophy to the Clumsy Ninja. He had a tragic backstory, earned his blue belt, and now it's time for him to earn his trophy. Keep doing what you're doing, King.
Alright, now into the category games that made us feel nice and cozy. Building and management simulators. These games weren't about skills, they were more about grinding. Waking up to harvest your crops, checking in to collect coins, waiting hours just for monsters to make love. Patience was key. In this section, we've got 12 games to go through, and what better game to start than The Sims? Originally launched in 2000, The Sims is one of the most iconic life simulators ever made. The mobile version launched in 2011, and I will be honest, I didn't play as much of The Sims as other management simulator games, but I'm excited to see how it still holds up today. I made my sim Annette Brown and immediately got to work on building her dream life.
Can I put the free bathtub like outside? Yes. Here comes Annette. Taking a bathtub right outside. Oh. I guess this is kind of like an ice bath maybe.
I gave Annette a makeover and we were soon introduced to our second sim, Grant Miller. Annette and Grant became friends very quickly.
What the heck? Go crazy, Annette. Oh, what the? Oh, good. Let them be goofy. Did Annette just fart?
We went farming, built more stuff, and honestly the game is really well made, and I just want to say I absolutely love the sound design of this game. The controls are smooth, the customization options are solid, and the Sims, they just put a smile on my face. 5 stars. I love my goofy Sims. Now, I feel like there was a specific story trend that swept through the App Store at one point. You know, games like Pet Shop Story, Fashion Story, Bakery Story. I was just browsing the App Store back in the day and just searched for these story games, and one I stumbled upon was High School Story. The game started out with me customizing my character, and this is when I met a girl named Autumn from another high school. She helped me with building my own high school. Yeah, just casually like, congrats, you're now the principal of this high school. Where am I getting the funds to build a high school? First up, we built a admissions office and accepted our first student, Lydia. Then we built a classroom that would teach kids to count to 10. I love when I learned how to count to 10 in high school. But just when things were setting in, trouble struck. This guy named Max from my rival high school was showing up to cause some problems, so Lydia and I were ready to fight. Fight him, so wait. Flirt with him. What? I don't know, big guy. What do you want me to do?
Are you hitting on me?
Yes, I was confused, he was confused, everyone was confused, but it seemed like it worked out. They left and we just went back to decorating our school, and as silly as it was, the game actually has charm. You complete quests, build out your high school, and unlock new characters, and the story element of it really gave me a reason to care about the place I was building. 4 stars. Max wanted me for real. The next game on the list is Pet Shop Story. Now, this game was developed by Storm8, who went on to develop a bunch of other story management type games. You typically didn't binge these games. You log on for a few minutes, tap your coins, breed some pets, and then let the timers do their own thing while you go do stuff in real life. Pet Shop Story was the first Storm8 game that I ever played, and I was first introduced it by my uncle, and kid me may have drained his wallet by accident.
Remember the time we played Pet Shop Story on Uncle Sam's phone and bought like a ton of gems?
Yes.
But you basically just breed animals, buy animals, and build your pet shop until your place can one day look like this. I think it's cute that you can visit other people's pet stores and leave messages on their walls, but what I didn't like was the shop doesn't display pets in order of what you unlock first, so I had to scroll all the way to the back to find what I could buy. Overall though, 3.5 stars. Please send gems. Next up is Fashion Story. Now, this game is different from Pet Shop Story in that you don't have to tap on the clothes to receive money. You buy items, wait for them to arrive, put them on display, and the customers will automatically drop off coins after purchasing. While waiting for my coins to rack up, I could go visit someone else's store, such as this Classy Ladies boutique. Classic Lady. Let's check out this level 100 ladies place. Oh wow, this is like a whole entire mall. There's like a Macy's up in here. Oh, they got a cafe up in here? That's awesome. I left a message on her wall and came back to my store where I noticed this outfit.
Why do we have a naughty nurse-like outfit? What?
I didn't know my store was a Spencer's, but guess what? Classy Lady visited my store and left a nice message. Oh wow, no way. She actually posted something on my wall. Aww. That's so cute. That made my day. She must be on this game 24/7 because that was an instant reply, but it made my day, so 4 stars. Come to my store if you want to buy a naughty nurse outfit. Next up, it's time to hatch some eggs and relive our Dragon Trainer era with one of the most iconic management games of early mobile games, Dragon Veil. Released in 2011, it was one of the OGs in the breed, build, and weight genre. So I hopped back in after 10 years and my park, it looks like it hadn't been touched since elementary school. I had no clue what was going on and there were new tutorials flying at me left and right, and then I remembered some of my dragons from so long ago.
Yoden and Fatso. Wow, I was very creative with naming these guys.
I ended up gemming through the breeding time and received a flower dragon. Overall, Dragon Veil still holds up. It's peaceful, cozy, and has that nostalgic art style that reminds you of old elementary computer lab games. 4 stars. I've missed you, Fatso and Yoden. But hold up, our dragon management game doesn't end here because the next game is Dragon Story. Yup, another story game. It's pretty much the same as Dragon Vale, where you build habitats, breed dragons, feed them until they're chunky, and then you just wait. A lot and a lot of waiting. I will say though, I really like the art style. It's bright and clean, but compared to Dragon Vale, the gameplay feels like a slightly off-brand version of it. 3.5 stars. Walmart Dragon Vale. But the next dragon game is one that has withstood the test of time. Dragon City. Now look, I played Dragon City before it was cool. Before mobile, I played this game on Facebook Games. That's right, back in the day when Facebook had awesome games like Farmville, Social Empires, Dungeon Rampage, and somehow Dragon City survived as all the rest perished. You can raise dragons, battle other dragons, collect rare ones, and even collect YouTuber dragons now. There's so many dragons to collect and the art style is fantastic. It's definitely changed a lot since the last time I played 10 years ago on Facebook. They've added a lot of content to keep the game interactive, and they also have this massive TV floating in the sky just advertising other games. At least the ads aren't annoying pop-ups that kidnap you away from the game. 4.5 stars. Dragon City, please turn me into a dragon. Alright, time for one more game about collecting creatures, but instead of dragons, it's My Singing Monsters. Instead of evolving monsters into stronger fighters, you breed them to join your island choir. Each creature has a unique sound, drums, bass lines, vocals, and together they can form something like this. Leveling up unlocks new monsters, and I want to get this guy called a frog, so I bred my monsters together to get it. The gameplay is chill and creative, and there's always something to work towards. 4 stars, pure vibes and musical mayhem. Tuber Simulator. Released by PewDiePie with Outer Mind Studio, this game was a pixel style sim where you build your own YouTube empire. It's been a while since I've touched this game, and before you call me weird, yes, my studio in-game currently looks like a demonic summoning room. But hear me out, Tuber Simulator has room contests, and I think the last one I participated in was a Halloween event, so I wasn't going through some dark edgy team phase. I scrolled through my old videos and found a banger titled Go Gamer Dies from Exercise. What type of videos was I making back then, and why are we releasing a part 5 video on that? I explored some of my other old rooms, checked out the latest room contest, and realized there's a whole meme contest now. Me when I relax. That's a good one. Honestly, this game was a great management simulator. You make videos, earn views, customize your room, and complete in decoration events. I just find the decoration contest to be so neat because one of the biggest parts of management simulator games is being able to customize your place with cool decors, and what better way to show it off than to flex it on the competition. Now, I would have given this game a perfect score if it weren't for the eagle screeching every 20 seconds. 4.5 stars. Is math related to science? Tiny Tower. Basically, you build a tower, fill it with shops and apartments, and little pixel people move in to live, work, and spend virtual money. I started out small with just a lobby and a basic apartment, but pretty soon I was unlocking cooler citizens, dressing them up with cute shark costumes, and working on expanding the place to become taller than the Burj Khalifa. It's super laid back, just tap, build, and vibe. 4.5 stars. Tiny Tower? I'd say it's pretty average. Alright, I forgot how much of a vibe this next game was. Smurfs Village. Originally released in 2010, this game came out during the rise of the village builder craze. But what made this one stand out to me was the art. I am a sucker for it, and this game just makes you feel like you're playing inside of a picture book. The story kicks off with Smurfs needing to build a new village after barely escaping Gargamel. We settled in a new area where we would need to set up farms, houses, and bakeries to attract all the Smurfs. On top of that, I love the cozy nature ambience. The soft winds, the birds, the insects chirping somewhere off screen made me feel at peace. I visited someone else's village and they had everything. I don't know how they can keep such a massive place like this hidden from Gargamel, but it allows you to appreciate the time that this person has put into the game. Overall though, this is genuinely such a great building / management game to lose yourself into, so 5 stars. It's smurfing good. This next game, I'm sure a lot of you guys can guess what it is by its signature jingle. It's Hay Day! Sorry to those who thought it was Clash of Clans, we'll get to that later in the video. Released in 2012, Hay Day was one of Supercell's earliest smash hits before Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and Brawl Stars took over the scene. But while the others were all about battling and raiding, Hay Day was all about vibing in the countryside, growing crops, raising chickens, and casually becoming one of the most downloaded farming games of all time. I jumped in and immediately remembered how satisfying it is to drag and plant the crops. It just feels so smooth and unique from other games' tap mechanics. I raised some chickens and had to fulfill some requests from the town bulletin board to make some money, and it's a slow start but it ramps up pretty fast once you expand your farm. The UI is clean, the animations are smooth, and the game is still being updated more than a decade later. Although I don't play as much Hay Day as religiously as I do with the other Supercell games, coming back to it in 2025, this is an S tier game, 4.7 stars, great farming game. And that wraps up the building and management simulator category, where we ran towns, raised dragons, dressed up boutiques, and enjoyed the cozy vibes of the countryside. And in this section, there are two games that stood out the most, and those were The Sims and Smurfs Village. As someone who's a sucker for a good building sim, I genuinely think any of these games are worth checking out, but if you're looking to dive into it for the first time in 2025, these two still hold up beautifully. And now that we've managed empires and leveled up our virtual creatures, it's time to flush all that responsibility away, because next up is what I call the toilet/casual games category. Waiting for the bus, hiding in class, or sitting on the toilet, these were the games we opened up to get a short dopamine burst before TikTok became the go-to. Let's start off with a fun one. We've got Granny Smith. Now, I don't know what y'all know about Granny Smith, but this woman, she's built different. This isn't your sweet, slow-knitting granny. No, this is a rollerblading, front-flipping, apple-defending weapon of destruction. The game is simple. A little thief is trying to steal Granny's prize apples, and your job is to roll, jump, and smash through walls like it's the X Games for seniors. What makes it unique is that it's not just another endless runner. You actually have to collect apples, nail landings, and pull off flips for higher scores to move on to the next level. It's goofy, smooth, and Granny's got moves. 4.5 stars. I enjoyed it way more than I should have. Next up, we have another beloved, Minion Rush. At first glance, it seems like another endless runner game, but plot twist, it's not infinite. Instead, each run has an objective that you have to complete. Collect a certain number of bananas, dodge X numbers of obstacles, etc. This is cool and all until you finish a run in like 30 seconds. I don't know how I feel about that. There's something satisfying about seeing how far you can go, such as in Jetpack Joyride, where it has the objective running in the background instead of cutting off the whole run short. Also, there were some ads after some rounds, and it's not overwhelming, but definitely didn't make up for the short ran experience. Overall, 3.5 stars. It's bananas. Okay, let's shift gears into something a little more cinematic. Vector. No, not that Vector. This one. The game opens with a cutscene about a dystopian society, mindless conformity, and one guy who says, "Nah, I'm good," and jumps out the window. You play as that guy sprinting, sliding, flipping, and wall jumping away through rooftops and fences to escape the guard that is chasing you. It's not your typical endless runner either, as there were levels each with its own layout and parkour flow. The visuals are a bit hard to see sometimes as you play as a black silhouette, but the movement animation was super smooth. It definitely gives the eerie dystopian feel. There were some ads, but they came at the right moments and not mid backflips, so it didn't kill the momentum. 4 stars. I hope the guy escapes. Now, the next game is an endless runner with a unique twist, Zombie Tsunami. You start out as one solo zombie sprinting through town, and with every terrified pedestrian you eat, your squad gets bigger. Before long, you've got a whole army of zombies chasing cars, flipping buses, and demolishing everything in your path. There are also power-ups you could grab along the way that transform your horde into flying zombies, giant zombies, ninja zombies, and more. The run ends when you run out of zombies. It's chaos, but surprisingly really fun, and yes, you can also customize your zombies with the coins you saved up. Overall, 4.5 stars. Highly recommend for anyone who's trying to start an apocalypse while pooping. Let's move into something a little less chaotic, Paper Toss. The game that made throwing trash into a bin as content. I launched it and immediately got hit with an ad before even playing. The gameplay, you just flick a piece of paper into the trash can while a fan messes with a shot. That's it. It gets pretty boring after a while, so I'm going to give it a 1 star. Paper tosses game into the trash. Next up is Gravity Guy, a game that I used to play on Miniclip, but it had a mobile version. It's another infinite runner, but instead of jumping, you're flipping through gravity. It's fast paced and kind of like Geometry Dash with checkpoints. The concept is solid, but the game is barely holding up in 2025. I'm glad there were checkpoints because the game was really laggy. I wanted to love it, I really did, but man, this game is still stuck in the past. 1.5 stars. Speaking of Geometry Dash, this game right here is so simple yet so soul crushing. You tap to jump, avoid spikes, fly a rocket ship, but each time you fail, you start all the way from the beginning, even if you are 90% of the way done. And somehow, failure makes the game even more addicting because with each failure, you become stronger. With each attempt, I adapt and I learn until I've memorized every tap to beat the level. I only finished the first 2 songs this time around, so I decided to jump straight to the last level. Did I beat it? No. Did it make me want to surpass my limits and become a Geometry Dash god? Maybe. It's frustrating, rewarding, and surprisingly addicting. 5 stars. Next up is an infinite runner that runs vertically instead of horizontally. That game is Ninja Jump Master. Dodging obstacles and slicing through enemies 3 times in a row, you get a little boost. Now let's talk about the important part. I got a high score of 32,000 and that made me rank 62 in the US somehow. Either this game is super dead or I'm just really good at the game. It's probably the former, but overall the game did seem a bit poorly optimized and there were a lot of ads, so 3 stars. Datebayo, as Naruto would say. Now here's a game that I wasn't expecting to like this much, Super Penguins. Like Temple Run, it's an infinite runner using tilt control. I normally don't like tilt control games, but this game made it feel good. I run around, slide through frozen landscapes, collect fish, and save my fellow penguins. The best part is there were no annoying ads popping up every 5 seconds, just clean, straightforward gameplay. 4.5 stars. This next game is one that you'll find in many Dave & Buster's for some reason. It's the Modern Frogger Crossy Road. You try to cross the road trying to get as far as you can without getting ran over or dying. The funny thing is, when I played there was a Subway Surfer collab, and so I was basically just playing Subway Surfers but in Crossy Road.
Am I the a-hole for taking my girlfriend's lasagna home when she said I could?
I didn't know how to switch back to the normal game mode for the longest time, so I was stuck grinding coins on the train tracks. Eventually I figured it out and returned to the classic Crossy Road experience where I can unlock a whole set of different characters. The game is pretty addicting. I ended up playing for more than 20 minutes without realizing, so that's when you know a casual game is doing a good job. 4 stars. I know why the chicken crossed the road. When Flappy Bird came out, a bunch of copies of the game also released, and one that I played was Splashy Fish. It's quite literally Flappy Bird, but you play as a fish, but unlike Flappy Bird, there are cosmetics you can unlock in different game modes, so I guess it's slightly better. 3.2 stars. Now this next game unlocks something me I forgot existed. Let's talk about Head Soccer. You move left and right, jump, kick, and most importantly unleash your character's absolute unbalanced ability, Power Shot. Now I was horrible at this game, but even after losing a match I just kept playing. Bro, this is such a hard game. I don't even know what's happening half the time. What the cutscene? That's illegal. Bro punched the ball with his hands. All I knew was I had to get the ball into the goalpost, and it was just ridiculously fun and addicting. I genuinely have to give it 5 stars. If losing this badly made me this happy, this game is doing something right. But this next game is addicting in a different way. Smash Hit. This game lets you throw metal balls at glass and it's oddly satisfying. You move forward automatically and your job is to smash the glass without running out of balls. Hitting crystals replenish your balls and smashing into glass makes you lose some. Now as a kid this game was so hard for me and I'd always run out of balls super early, but now playing it again as an adult I went the full 20 minutes without running out. The gameplay is smooth, the visuals are stunning, and the sound design is so hot. 5 stars. Talking about sound design, Piano Tiles was all about music and sound. I hopped into classic mode, ready to unleash my inner Beethoven, but it only lasted 8 seconds. The round ended so fast I didn't even get a chance to think before I got hit with an ad that lasted 20 seconds. After that, I can't lie, the other modes did stimulate my brain. My eyes lock in, fingers start tapping, and I'm in a flow state where Piano Tiles were all that I focused on. Thankfully, the ads popped up every few rounds, which made it bearable, so the game is fun in quick bursts. 3 stars. And to finish off this category, we've got Dune. This was a game I whip out at the high school lunch table if we didn't end up playing Uno or something that day. And before I even got a chance to play, I got hit with an ad. That's not a good start. After finishing the ad, I played the game which involved you building momentum to go far, but my round only lasted about 10 seconds before I got hit with another ad. I don't know why, but I'm terrible at this game. I just couldn't get the timing right and would just go face planting into another ad. If the game would actually let me adapt instead of breaking my momentum with an ad after every round, I think I would have rated it a little better. 1 star. Let me play the game, please. And that wraps up the casual games category. So whether you're bored on the toilet, on the plane, or just need something casual, I present to you 3 champions of this category: Geometry Dash, Head Soccer, and Smash It. These are games that not only passed time, but made it fly. Alright, we've tapped, dashed, and tossed papers into bins, but now it's time to use our brains and get tactical because the next category is all about strategy games. From tower defense to base building to tactical warfare, these games made you feel like a war general during homeroom. So let's kick it off with one of the most iconic mobile strategy games of all time, Clash of Clans. Released in 2012, Clash of Clans quickly exploded into one of the most popular strategy games of all time. It mixes both aspects of base building management and tactical warfare together. I logged in after a while and was immediately greeted by some sort of WWE collab going on. My first mission was to attack my own base to see if I still had it in me, and afterwards I was greeted with a new system that the builders had automatically upgraded things for me while I was away. I actually really like this new feature. It's like a warm welcome back after being gone for so long, but the real heart of this game was the community. I used to be in this clan called Fight, Destroy, Win back in the day, which consisted of a bunch of adults who let a 15-year-old me join their war squad. It was weirdly wholesome. I did eventually get busy with school and had to stop playing the game, but before I left, I wrote them this message. To sum it up, I thanked them for the 2 years I was in the clan and appreciated how loving everyone was. The leader even shared my final message with everyone in our clan Discord. So now 6 years later, I wanted to see if any of them still played the game. I requested to join the clan and sent them a message. Let's see if they still remember me. In the meantime, there's a lot of things to do in this game, and it looks like they added a lot of content since the last time I played. You could raid bases, build clan capitals, upgrade structures, go to war, and now it looks like they removed the troop training time. There's nothing stopping you from playing this game 24/7 now. There's a reason Clash of Clans has survived longer than any other mobile game, and that is because it is a 5-star game. But bring back global chat. Shortly after Clash of Clans' success, Supercell decided to move into the modern age of warfare and release Boom Beach. Instead of medieval troops and dragons, you're rocking machine guns, artillery strikes, and palm trees. The gameplay is super smooth, and you build your base, train your troops, and launch attacks on enemies known as the Blackguard to rescue the island inhabitants. I liked how much simpler everything felt. You just drop your troops on the beach and watch them blow up the enemy's HQ while avoiding defenses. To progress, you unlock and conquer new islands, expanding your reach across the ocean. I won't lie, I played Boom Beach for like a week when I was a kid and immediately went back to Clash of Clans. But playing it now, it's still a great game, so I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars. It's like Clash of Clans, but modern and on a beach. To complete the holy trinity of Supercell strategy games, we've got Clash Royale. Unlike the last two games, this game combines cards, tower defense, and a battle arena all together. You collect different cards, build your own deck, and summon troops on the battlefield to take out the enemy's tower before they take out yours. This game was all about knowing how to counter enemies, and I may not have the best cards, but I used to whoop pay-to-win kids in high school just through sheer strategy. Even in my current gameplay, I went against people who were all a tower level above me and proceeded to win every match. What can I say? I still got it in me, unless they were all bots, which they could have been. If not, I'm sorry I just called you a bot. There are so many deck combinations, playstyles, and strategies to mess around with. The best part is the matches are quick, so I'd always sneak around in between classes. Now, I do know that Clash Royale has been plagued with a lot of microtransactions to favor pay-to-win players, but for these 20 minutes I played and being a casual player, it still got me hooked. So this is still a 5-star game for me. I still don't have Mega Knight yet. Before we moved on to the next game, I wanted to check on one last thing. Did any of my old Clash of Clans mates respawn? No. It's been 2 weeks, no replies, just silence. I mean, I can't blame them. It has been 6 years and most of them were in their 40s when I joined. I was just a teenager looking for a clan and they took me in like I was one of their own. Time passes, people move on, but then I got accepted back into the clan. It seems like they don't play as often anymore, but I'm happy. Happy to be able to reconnect with the past. Even though we were all strangers on the internet, Clash of Clans brought us together. Sticking with the heart of the cards genre, this next game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, taught me how to play the actual TCG. Because oh my days, for being a kid's anime, why are the rules so complicated? I was more of a Pokemon kid, but because there was no good mobile Pokemon TCGs, I ended up sticking with Yu-Gi-Oh! This game allows you to build your own deck from cards that you pulled from different packs. Once you have a deck built, you can play as different characters, giving you a special power-up. I used to be a Yugi main, which gave spellcaster cards a boost, so you already know I was rocking the Dark Magician deck. To play, each player begins with a certain amount of life points. The goal is to summon monster cards to attack and lower each player's life points until it hits 0. Monsters with higher attack points take out monsters with lower attack points, and of course there are different trap and spell cards that can change the course of the battle. However, these guys that went up against literally played like bots. He doesn't have any trap cards. There we go. 300 of his life points down. What does the spell do? Target one monster and revive it? Oh heck no. It's fine. How is he gonna battle me? I don't think he can. Is this guy stupid? What? Am I going against a bot right now? What just happened? There's no way someone with a brain just actively attacks me when both their monsters are weaker than mine. I was genuinely lost for words. This next person might have been a real person because they forfeited after realizing they couldn't win. I've had duels where people summoned Exodia on me on turn 1, basically ending the game there, but these guys were no fun. 3.5 stars. It's still fun, but might have lost its active competitive spirit. Alright, it's time to defend our lawns because up next is an icon, Plant vs. Zombies. Originally released in 2009 on PC and later on mobile, this tower defense gem had one of the most bizarre concepts. What if you stopped a zombie apocalypse with sunflowers, pea shooters, or even a squash? I jumped back in and played a few levels. The gameplay starts slow and you start with a pea shooter and need to collect suns to buy more pea shooters. With each passing level, you unlock a new plan but also face off against tougher zombies. I will admit I was playing this in bed and almost fell asleep because of the slow gameplay, and there were ads in this game now. The ads aren't terrible though because each run does take a while to complete, but overall I will give this 4 stars. It's still a great tower defense game with a very unique concept. Now there's nothing like tower defense without Bloons Tower Defense 5. Originally part of a Flash game series, Bloons has been around since the mid-2000s, but Bloons Tower Defense 5 is where the mobile version really popped off. You place different types of monkeys, snipers, ninjas, tack shooters, and pop waves of colorful balloons that slowly evolve into a monstrous threat. The gameplay is honestly pretty relaxing, until a few balloons manage to slip past you and you have to lock in for a quick 10 seconds, and then it goes back to being peaceful popping. I made it to round 40 something before the 20 minutes were up, and I gotta say I like Bloons a bit more than Plant vs. Zombies. This is a 5-star game for me. But let's see if the next tower defense game can also take home a 5-star, Battle Cats. Originally released in Japan and later ported worldwide, Battle Cats has built a cult following thanks to its bizarre art style, ridiculous humor, and deep strategy. You start by sending off regular cats to take over the world while defending your own base. With each country taken over, you start accumulating new and improved breeds of cats. We got Tank Cat, Ninja Cat, Sexy Leg Cat, or even God. You can also get upgrades to help you with your journey on taking over the world, but what I didn't like was that there was an energy system. If you use up all of your energy, you need to wait for it to refill to keep playing. Otherwise, you'll have to close out the app and come back another time. I guess it's a good way to keep people from playing with war-hungry cats all day. 4 stars. Almost perfect. Now this next game was one of the first paid games I played when I received an iTunes gift card. It's another tower defense strategy game where you send out a bunch of heroes to battle waves of monsters. There's a full-blown campaign, tons of unlockable units, and all the childhood bus ride memories baked into it. I remember making a bet with my friend that I could beat the entire campaign using only the starting night, and spoiler alert, I actually did. I loaded it back up for this video and at first it felt good. The gameplay's slower than I remembered, but thankfully there's a 2x button now. I managed to clear the first 3 rounds, but then I got hit with a subscription paywall. It didn't even let me exit this page, and the worst part is the button to check how much it costs was broken. How are you going to paywall a game and not even do it correctly? I'm sorry, I'm not subscribing to a game that I already beat 10 years ago on a bus ride. 1 star. That paywall was the real final boss. Now this next game will feel very familiar if you ever played Clash of Clans. It's Castle Clash World Ruler. It's another base building, troop training, raid your neighbors type of game. It does have a lot of focus on collecting heroes with unique abilities that makes it different from Clash of Clans. But you know what else this game has that Clash of Clans doesn't? Global chat. That's right, a chat where you can talk to random people online across the world, but there was a problem. You need gems to speak. So I decided to watch an ad to get gems so I could send this in chat.
Pee pee poo poo.
Aside from the game itself, it's not bad. The visuals do seem a bit old school, but the gameplay itself was fine. It's a solid Clash alternative if it didn't require gems to speak in global chat, so 3.8 stars. Pee pee poo poo. This next game, you can think of it as the Boom Beach version of Clash Royale, War Hero strategy card game. It's another game where you build your deck, deploy troops, and take out the enemy's towers before they take down yours. Like Clash Royale, it's all about countering the enemy's attacks, and the pace is fast, so I quite enjoyed the gameplay. However, the game kept crashing on me, so I don't know if it's still being maintained. For that, I'll give it 3 stars. The gameplay is solid, but poorly optimized. Last but not least, in the strategy category, we have the most morbid strategy mobile game, Plague Inc. In this game, you don't build a base or deploy troops, you become a literal virus, and your goal? Wipe out humanity before they find a cure. But also, if wiping out humanity isn't your thing, there is another game mode to help you find a cure to save the world. I named my virus Bob and dropped into the world where I began infecting my first victims. You can collect DNA points that can be used to evolve your virus by increasing its transmission, adding different deadly symptoms, and building up its resistance to meds and climates. What makes it really clever is the real-time strategy aspect. You're watching how each country reacts by monitoring the news headline to counter their attempts at stopping the plague. Turkey shuts down land borders. Turkey has become the first country to try to limit the spread of Bob by eliminating access into and out of the country. Well, guess what? I'm about a transmission by bird, bro. By bird. There's no point in shutting down your borders when birds can carry it. It's quite an eerie game as you watch the world perish. In our case, they were 82% of the way to finding a cure before Bob wiped out all of humanity. For being more than a decade old, this game is still really fun and really well made. 5 stars. I highly recommend. Just don't tell the CDC I said that. And that wraps up our strategy games category. Strategy games are probably my favorite category of mobile games, so that's why I have a few winners in this section. Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Bloons Tower Defense 5, and Plague Inc. takes home the trophy for being great strategy games that are still fun to play in 2025. These games didn't just challenge your reflexes, but they challenge your brain, and that's why they still hold up so well. But the next category of games will be testing my reflexes. Welcome to the action games category, where it's less about planning, but more about punching, shooting, slashing, and occasionally turning into a worm and eating civilians. We'll get there. So buckle up because we're diving headfirst into chaos with Battle Bears 1 Zombies. Now this one hits different. Battle Bears wasn't just a game, it was a core childhood memory. Specifically, Battle Bears Royale was my favorite mobile game of all time as a kid. I even have an old screenshot of my high score that I posted on Facebook from back then. Unfortunately, the Battle Bears franchise slowly died out as the developers couldn't keep up with the aging server infrastructure, so a lot of games were removed from the App Store. I managed to pull Battle Bears 1 Zombies out of the graves from my app history, and today we're about to witness why I love this series so much. You play as Oliver, a bear that is stranded in the open greenery as these zombie-like bears known as Huggies start approaching. Yes, these cute bears will come and hug you to death. The gameplay is simple, you just shoot them before they approach, but what made this game stand out was the story. Between waves of zombie bears, you get fully animated cutscenes, weird, silly lore-packed videos that pull you deeper into the Battle Bears cinematic universe. As I played, I realized I wasn't even grinding for high scores, I was just grinding to unlock the next cutscene. This game looks so old school, but I have to give it 4.99 stars. It's not perfect, but I still have it on my phone while editing this because I wanted to finish the game after I finished this video. The next few games are all made by the same studio, Trinity Interactive, a studio that defines some of our favorite childhood action games such as the Call of Mini series. But to kick things off, we're starting with Kung Fu Warrior. This game starts with honor, discipline, and tragedy. Oh my god, he killed my master. You basically play as Bruce Lee on a mission to avenge your master's death from these bandits. You're punching through waves of bad guys, unlocking new combos, but after a while, it just gets a bit repetitive. The rounds just felt unbearably long, and I didn't love the controls too much, especially since jump and block were mapped to the same button. For that, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Sorry master, I won't be avenging you. Now, we cannot speak Trinity Interactive without talking about its Call of Mini series, but first I wanted to showcase a bonus game that was lost to time, Mini Carnivals. A game for me that wasn't just fun, it was everything. You could design your own mini character, play a huge variety of fast-paced mini games, and best of all, it was online. Honestly, I forgot that this game existed until I started digging through my old app history for this video, and then all the memories came flooding back. Memories of spending hours designing skins, chatting with people, and just having a good time. But one day, the game just disappeared. And like so many other games from that era, it faded into mobile game history. I don't know how many people actually played Mini Carnivals, but I'm sure there are many other games we've all loved that are off the App Store. And I think that's the beauty of rediscovering some of these lost pieces from our childhood, because some games disappear, but the memories don't. Now, like Mini Carnival, this next game is also disappearing from the App Store, Call of Mini Zombies. This game might have been Trinity Interactive's most popular title and maybe the reason Mini Carnival disappeared because this one took off so hard. You drop in, grab a gun, and try to hold your ground as hordes of zombies rushed in from all sides. It's fast paced, the music definitely gets you going, and the movement was easy to navigate. Even so, I still got overrun by spitters, trapped, and somehow turned huge at one point to escape. I had no idea what was happening. For being such an old game and abandoned, it felt way smoother than I remembered. I'll give it 4 stars. Mini Carnival had to fall so this one could shine. Now, to wrap up the Trinity Interactive games, we're playing Dino Cap 3. Why 3 and not 1 and 2? Well, Well, like I said, all of the games have been wiped from the App Store. I only managed to play some of them because I still have it saved in my app history. You play as a survivor just trying to survive wave after wave of dinosaurs. Different survivors have unique perks, and if you run low on ammo, well, it's over for you. I like the art style, but it doesn't hit the same as Call of Mini Zombies, so 3.5 stars. Now this next game took me by surprise, Star Warfare Alien Invasion. It's been long abandoned as the last update was from 6 years ago and I vaguely remember playing it. I booted up and was greeted with an online mode, completely expecting it to be empty, but there were 2 lobbies open. 2! There were still people playing this abandoned game that released in 2012. Naturally, I joined and got absolutely obliterated. These guys went hard at this game. They probably have a decade's worth of gear and experience. The controls were so hard to use. Every time I shoot, my screen would just start shifting slightly and then I'd get shot in the back or something. I retreated to the single player mode to get used to the controls a bit, and I killed some aliens, getting a few minutes of training in and realized you can buy different armors and weapons. Back from crushing aliens, I decided to hop back into the multiplayer lobby, hoping to at least get 1 kill. Oh no, he sees me. He sees me. Bruh! 3.9 stars. Clunky controls, but people still play this ancient alien shooter. Now, this next game is a game that I haven't touched since I was like 10 years old, but somehow it still remembered me. Trigger Fist. After a whole decade, my account was still saved in this game with all my stats and characters. I dropped into a free-for-all match and wow was I rusty, but in true comeback fashion, I warmed up, locked in, and won the second match. Though, let's be real, these guys were definitely all bots. I used to play this other game mode a lot called Sacred Goat, where the main objective is to hold a goat for 90 seconds. The controls were rough, but gameplay wise it was still fun. 4 stars. Love playing Protect the President with a goat. Now the last few mobile shooter games all had really rough controls, and I thought that was just the case for touchscreen controls until I played this next game, Pixel Gun 3D. Originally released in 2013, Pixel Gun 3D started as a simple Minecraft-style zombie shooter, but over time it evolved into a full-blown FPS juggernaut. Multiplayer, campaign, battle royale, cosmetics, this game just kept adding features to adapt to modern gaming. I created my character, went through a quick tutorial, and immediately the controls and UI were silky smooth. This was a huge contrast from the last few shooter games I played, so I was surprised. I jumped into a team deathmatch and dominated the competition. I even came in first in the next game, but what I was most excited for was the amount of cosmetic items in this game. We had Susanoo, a Goldback Glider, Sailor Moon, Deku, and Slenderman? Also, editing Snow here, I just realized in the audio that this section was messed up. Maybe it was Slenderman telling us that he was waiting for us. Who knows? But these skins look great and definitely enticed me to buy them. Outside regular multiplayer, there was a campaign mode where you fight off hordes of zombies. And if that wasn't enough for you, I even dropped into a battle royale where I looted guns, battled other players, and somehow won. To me, this was a 5-star game, an old pixel shooter that has adapted to the age of modern gaming. Okay, this next one is unhinged and in the best way possible. Super Mega Worm, a game where you play as a giant worm sent by Mother Earth to eradicate humanity for polluting the planet. The game literally opens with 2 guys littering, and then a giant worm bursts from the ground and devours them whole. Peak gameplay. The more you eat, the more powers you unlock, and the bigger the jumps. EMP blasts and meteor strikes, and the further you go, the more delicious chaos you unleash. Tanks, planes, helicopters, people trying to parachute away from me? Nope, get eaten as well. If it moves, it gets eaten, and I gotta say, it's surprisingly satisfying. 4 stars. This next game scratched that classic fantasy RPG itch, Swordigo, a side-scrolling platform where you're basically just a regular guy with a sword trying to save the world. It starts with us searching for our master after experiencing a nightmare, but of course our master got murked in the woods before we arrived. He tells me that I'm the chosen one, the fate of the village now rests in my hands, but before I could continue, I got murked. I wake up in the healer's hut where the village elder tells me the corruptors are back and I must find the legendary sword that will apparently solve our problems. So I go off slashing big spiders, casting spells, solving riddles when I run into a ferryman who asked me to find his vase. I accept his quest and find his vase, but then I ran into a wild ad. Yes, this wasn't the first ad I ran into playing, but I'm surprised a game like Swordigo would have ads. Gameplay wise, Swordigo has that old school charm, so I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I love the music, the vibe, and the story. Alright, time to turn the violence dial to the max because this next game is Mortal Kombat. You start off with the iconic Scorpio vs Sub-Zero showdown, which I won't show because the fatalities in this game are a bit gruesome. It throws you into a tutorial where you learn the combos, blocks, and how to swap characters. This game actually has a card aspect in which you have to open packs to obtain different characters to play as. I opened a pack and pulled this Diamond Jade girl, and instantly she carried my team. She carried my team so hard that when I hopped into multiplayer, she single-handedly took out the entire enemy team despite their overall stats being better. What a queen. I opened another pack hoping for another diamond character, but I got this guy instead. Bo Rai Cho. I decided to test him out in battle and
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
come on bro, you got this. Come on. Come on. Oh, close one. Jade just one-tapped that man to finish him off. 4.8 stars. Queen Jade carried. This next game is another iconic fighting game, Shadow Fight. You play as a warrior who saw a worthy battle, but instead he accidentally opened the gates of the Shadow Realm. Now cursed as a shadow yourself, you train under a wise sensei to regain your honor. I face off first against his disciple Kenji to learn the basic fighting mechanics of the game, and then I meet Mei the armor smith. She warns me not to fight this absolute unit named Brick, but she doesn't know that I have the indomitable human spirit. I got demolished. Look, the combat is legit. There's actual depth timing combos, so I couldn't just spam like I usually do. I'll give it 4.5 stars. It's not as flashy as Mortal Kombat, but its combo system is smooth. Next up, we have Unison League, a flashy anime-style RPG that starts off with downloading gigabytes worth of patches. But once I got past that, I chose the mage and jumped straight into the world. Immediately, I started beating up goblins and got introduced to the unison attacks, which was just a massive chain of combos. But one of the coolest parts of the game was that there's an actual lobby with real players to join on a mission. On top of that, there's full-on chat rooms that they hang out in, so I joined one, asked this person how they were doing, and I met this other guy and he told me that he's been playing this game on and off for 3 years, and honestly, that's awesome. It's not often that you can actually chat and interact with another player in mobile games. I'm going to give Unison League 4 stars. I love the anime style combat. This next game is another hero battle type of game. It's called Heroes vs Monsters. You control a squad of heroes as they fight waves of monsters, with each hero having an ability of their own. However, I hated the controls. You have to drag your heroes to move them, but it's so janky that half the time they would just start wandering off on their own. At one point, one of my heroes just collapsed mid-fight. I tried to keep playing, but it just didn't click. 2 stars. And that wraps up the action games category, a chaotic collection of gunfights, fistfights, and exploding worms. But in the end, one game stood above the rest, Pixel Gun 3D. For 20 minutes of fun, this is a good game. But hey, if you're feeling a little goofy, I gotta recommend checking out some Battle Bears because I know I'm going to be playing this game after I finish editing this video. Alright, it's time to fire up the stove because we're heading into one of the tastiest corners of mobile gaming, food games. Anything food related, I decided to throw into this category, and what better way to start than Skyburger. Released in 2009 by Nimblebit, the same folks behind Tiny Tower, Skyburger is like the grandpa to mobile games. While Tiny Tower continues to be updated monthly, this game is completely gone from the App Store, only downloadable through my history. The gameplay consists of catching the right ingredients as they fall from the sky and stack them into a towering, gravity-defying mess of a burger. There's some customization which allows you to change your food truck and your little burger person, but you never really see them because you spend 90% of your time in the sky. And after every round, I could tell that the game tried to hit me with an ad but glitched out, like the game was confused on how I was still playing this game when it was removed from the App Store. It does get a bit boring after a bit, so 2 stars. It's time for more story games. Yes, we haven't covered them all, but these next 2 are all about feeding your customers, Bakery Story and Restaurant Story. Now, Bakery Story was my jam back then. Unfortunately, I couldn't recover my original Bakery Story account, but funny enough, I actually got back into this game last year, so the bakery you're seeing now is my 2024 bakery. And get this, my old bakery is still friended on this account, so I checked it out. It's still a higher level than me though. Past me was grinding harder than present me.
Uh-oh. Stinky!
You basically bake goods, wait for them to finish baking, and serve the customers, earning money to decorate the place. Back in the day, this was an S tier game for me, no question, but today, it's a little buggy and slow. And since last year, the ads have ramped up, so that's when you know it's reaching the end of its life. Restaurant Story was the same, but instead of serving baked goods, you're cooking full-on meals. It's pretty much just a carbon copy of Bakery Story, just slightly worse, so for that, I would give Bakery Story 3.8 stars and Restaurant Story 3 stars. Now, this next game is is a pretty popular franchise, Cooking Mama, a game where you slice, dice, stir, and get praised by mama if you did it right. But not only can you cook food in this game, you can also use the food you cook to run a restaurant. As the game progresses, you unlock more ingredients and more ways to cook. For a game that makes cooking look fun, it holds up really well, 4 stars.
Wow, even better than Mama.
Now, I'm not sure what was up with people's obsessions with making games starring US presidents, but there were a few games I played back then, and this one was called Hot Dog Bush Food Truck Game. Turning the former president into a street food vendor, it's your typical time management cooking game. You grill, you plate, you serve, and every level just gets more and more intense. Now, I did have a few issues. The controls were a bit buggy, and sometimes when I grab a hot dog, it felt like it just didn't register my click, and so it would mess up my flow. There were ads in between rounds, but I still had a good time playing it though. 3.5 stars. I enjoyed serving glizzies as a president. To wrap up our food fail journey, we've got what might be the gold standard of cooking games, Cooking Fever Restaurant Game. Right off the bat, the controls are a lot smoother than Hot Dog Bush as it registers my clicks quite seamlessly. The gameplay is addicting. You're flipping burgers, pouring drinks, and the difficulty slowly increases as more customers flood in and new food options unlock. But what I really liked was that the upgrades weren't just cosmetics. Even things like TVs and furnitures actually served a purpose. For example, upgrading a TV increases customer patience, which helps ease the rush when things get hectic. On top of that, the only ads I saw in game were the little ones that pop up on the TV screens in the background. I had a lot of fun in this game, so this game receives 5 Michelin stars. Chef's kiss.
Mwah.
And that wraps up the food games category, a delicious journey through mobile kitchens, bakeries, and presidential food trucks. For this category, the trophy goes to Cooking Fever, a game that has smooth gameplay, a smart upgrade system, and a respectful use of in-game ads. But if cooking games are a bit too hectic for you, we're slowing things down a bit with the next category, idle games. These are games that don't demand your full attention, just time, patience, and a few thousand taps. Let's start with one of the most beautiful idle games ever made, Tap Tap Fish Abyssrium. It's been years since I last opened this game, and the moment I did, I was greeted by a silver corgi floating through the ocean. And somehow, everything just hit me. The music, the soft flowing ambience, the vast quiet loneliness of the sea. My Coralite whispered, "I'm so lonely." This game was absolutely beautiful. Just sitting here listening to the music made me feel so insignificant and significant at the same time. In this game, you tap to earn vitality, which is used to create life, build coral reefs, or upgrade your Coralite. Of course, I did get hit with a subscription pop-up asking for $8 a week to remove the ads. I was really hoping this beautiful game wasn't ruined by ads, but here we are. Otherwise, the overall experience was so peaceful and nostalgic. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It's not perfect, but still a quiet treasure down in the App Store. Now, here's a game that truly embraces the meaning of patience, Nico Atsume Kitty Collector. In this game, you place down food, sprinkle some toys in your background, and then wait. You close the app and wait. Yup, that's the game. After about 5 minutes of waiting, I came back to find my very first visitor, a little white fluff named Snowball. The goal of the game is to collect as many different cats as you can, so I stocked up on goodies, bought some sashimi, and waited longer for more friends to show up. And a few more minutes later, Fred and Caramel showed up. This game is quite literally the definition of an idle game, but maybe a bit too idle. 3 stars. Definitely recommend if you love cats and don't want a big time commitment. Now we really start to enter into the realm of tapping, Cookie Clickers. A game that starts simple, but a few clicks later you're running a cookie empire. And now apparently there's gacha cards as well with different cookie power-ups. This game has changed a lot since the last time I played, and there's also a leaderboard system now, and suddenly I'm competing against other cookie clickers. 10 minutes into playing, I got my first ad, which wasn't too bad, but my fingers had already entered into another realm of existence. I can only tap so fast for so long. Still, I'll give it 4.5 stars. They somehow made a game about clicking cookies interesting. The next game is another tapping game that teaches you the true spirit of capitalism, Adventure Capitalist. You start tapping and selling lemonade and soon expand your business to delivering newspaper as well. But wait, tired of tapping? Don't worry, just hire someone else to tap for you. That's capitalism apparently. The upgrades come fast, the numbers get absurd, and soon you're building an entire empire of businesses within minutes. Now, it did start to feel repetitive after a while. It was the same loop of tapping and upgrading, and there were no cool gacha cards like Cookie Clicker did to keep me engaged, so I'll rate it 4 stars. I wish making money was this easy in real life. Speaking of money tapping games, this next one is exactly that. Make It Rain Love of Money. In simple terms, this was the money version of Cookie Clicker, except with a lot of ads and less flashy power-ups, 2.5 stars. This next game I downloaded when I was in both my zombie and ninja era. It's called Zombies vs Ninjas, but honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. There wasn't much guidance, so I was just tapping away furiously, flinging ninja stars at zombies. Occasionally I would run out of ninja stars, but then somehow it would automatically refuel. I was so confused. It didn't really feel like a challenge either. It seemed like the zombies didn't even want me. By the end of the 20 minutes, I felt like I just wasted my time. 1 star. And that brings us to the end of the idle games category. From Peaceful Oceans to chaotic capitalist grindfest, these games don't require a lot of brain processing to play. But out of all of these games, the golden idle trophy goes to Cookie Clicker. It's ridiculous, iconic, and gives your fingers a good workout. Alright, now we've reached the final category of this journey. These are games that I didn't really know how to fit into other categories, so I decided to lump them all together into a miscellaneous category. So let's kick things off with a drama-filled choice game episode. This was a story game where the choices you make decide the outcome of the game. I chose to play a story called Don't Hate the Player, and while I was hoping to play as a guy, I couldn't find the option to, so I ended up becoming this girl named Bob. Bob was auditioning to be on a dating show to find love, and surrounded by other girls, one caught Bob's eye, Heather. So our goal was to get Heather to notice us, but then the plot twist hits. There are 4 players in the cast, people not looking for love, just looking for money, and our job was to figure out who.
I hope I can work out if my girl is genuine or not.
Okay. Beth is the player. The story was engaging, but a lot of the choices were locked behind gems, so I was pretty much forced into another direction of the gameplay. I ended up not being able to finish the story before 20 minutes was up, so I never figured out who the imposter was. Is it Beth? Is it Heather? Who knows? But what I do know is I'm giving the game 4 stars. What a dramatic roller coaster of a game. Alright, so I thought this next game, BitLife, was a lot older, but apparently it dropped in 2018, so it's not ancient like some of the other games on the list. At the same time, I guess 2018 was 7 years ago, so it has been quite a while. Man, that makes me feel old. But anyways, meet my BitLife alter ego, Marcus Genovese, a man conceived behind a high school football stadium. How romantic. But then I saw this. What the? My father is Quincy, a retired photographer age 69, behind a high school football stadium? Somebody put that man behind bars, bro. This is another decision-based game where you got to choose how you want to live your life. The father eventually passed away and Marcus inherited his fortunes. Do we even attend his funeral though? Like, bro's kind of a bad man. Unfortunately, we couldn't get into college for a long time, so we took a job in film and just lived off the inheritance. We eventually got married, didn't have any kids, and died. The possibilities are endless, but some features are paywalled. Other than that, it's quite a unique game and fun to simulate how to live life. 4.5 stars. What if we're living in a life simulation right now? Akinator is the mobile equivalent of a genie that lives in your phone and just so happens to be really good at reading minds. You think of a character, real or fictional, and this genie guy asks you a series of yes or no questions until he guesses who it is. Is your character black? Kind of, but probably not. Is your character fat? Yes. Is your character originally from a video game? I think yes. Dude, no way! He got everyone I threw at him except for one. He couldn't guess Antarctic from Club Penguin, which I guess is fair. I did try to give him a really hard niche character. It's honestly a magical experience every time you use it. Even years later, it's just as impressive. 4 stars. This next game makes your drawings come to life. Draw a Stickman epic. I started drawing on my character and then drew my friend Bob. But just as we were about to live our best stick figure lives, Bob gets kidnapped. Our mission was to save Bob. I could draw fire to burn through obstacles, which was super cool until I ran into an armadillo drawn by some evil stickman. I tried to lure it onto a bridge and burn it, but that didn't really go as planned. So I just decided to do the next best thing. I walked past it. The next level unlocked some cloud powers, but the game started crashing, so my drawing adventure was cut a little short. Aside from the crashes, it's another unique game that unleashes your inner creativity. 4 stars. Now here's another game that also utilizes your creative mind. Scribblenauts. Instead of bringing your drawings to life, this game brings your words to life. Need a ladder? Type ladder and boom. Need something chopped down a tree? Boom. You use your words to solve puzzles, and it's a really cool concept, but then it asked me if I want to unlock the rest of the game. Mind you, I already paid $8 to play this game, and you're telling me I don't even get the full game. I jumped into a world and noticed that some levels were already marked with crowns as if I've already beaten them before, which was weird. Maybe it's data from when I played this as a kid, so I decided to play a level I didn't beat yet, which required me to turn this guy into a dragon. I beat it, and then the game kept making me replay this level over and over again. When I exited, nothing saved, so yeah, this game's a bit buggy. 2.5 stars. Great creativity, but it seems to be abandoned. This next game is a bit different. It's a mobile virtual world game called Hotel Hideaway and Chat, a game where you socialize, express yourself, and meet strangers in a hotel lobby. I created my avatar, a bald man named Bob, and loaded into my home suite. I wandered into a public room and started chatting with people.
Howdy.
Hey, Bald. Want to borrow some hair of mine?
That's kind of you. But I'm Bald Bob.
All was going well until this guy I met told me to follow him.
Hello, ugly women.
Oh wow, that is so mean. He called me over, asked me to sit, and then...
The view.
This guy was a freak, and I genuinely did not know what to say, so I said,
I like men.
I decided to head to the beach to do a quest, and here I was actually able to find some normal people just chatting normally. I tried to complete the quest, but my 20 minutes were up. All in all, I was a virtual world game addict as a kid, as you can see by my previous video, and I do have to say, while there are a lot of genuine people, there are some weirdos, so please be careful who you talk to online. Aside from the freaks, I had a solid social experience, so 4 stars. This next game, Duck Life, is a game about dreams, determination, and ducks with bowl cuts. I entered the world as a humble slow duck who couldn't even make it to the finish line, but my duck didn't give up. I did mini games, drills, and just kept running and running until I was stronger, faster, and maybe even quackier. I entered my first race and placed second, but then the next few races I got cooked. Although it's not as fast as some of the fastest waterlers, we still gotta appreciate how far we've come. Duck Life teaches you that every small thing adds up, so 4 stars. Charming experience of building your duck from zero to somewhat of a hero. Zombie Life. In this game, you don't fight zombies, you are the zombie. I customized my undead avatar and was immediately greeted by a flesh-eating worm named Mr. Wiggles, who basically became my mentor. He showed me how to blend into human society, where I got a job, made money, and lived my best undead life. I even met another zombie who managed to become a doctor. There used to be another game called Zombie Farm that was more popular, but it's no longer available in the App Store. These zombie games now live on in our memories and in whatever old iPods that still have it downloaded. 3.5 stars, a wholesome little life sim for the post-life. This next game makes learning feel fun, Trivia Crack. You can compete against others to see who can answer the most trivia questions in certain categories correctly. Even though I didn't really know the answers to a lot of these questions, I still enjoyed the simulation it provided my brain. However, the game has been infested with ads. There is an option to remove ads for $1 per month, which was honestly not a bad deal, but it still kills the momentum a bit. 3.5 stars, a fun brain game. This next game is another brain game, Wordscape. It's a calming, rewarding game that involves you figuring out the different words using a set of letters. The ads in this game aren't bad either, and on the plus side, you can use in-game currency to remove ads for a day, which is honestly a really good mechanic that more games should use. It's a 4-star game for me. I should play this game more to expand my vocabulary. Now, here's another game that I used to play with my friends at school at the lunch table, Sup Multiplayer Racing. It was a game where you could customize your cars and race against other people trying to knock them off the track. But coming back to it now in 2025, it's been infested with ads. I've kind of realized that the gameplay is really repetitive as well. It's just you switching lanes, boosting, and knocking people off. This is a lot less fun than I remembered. 3 stars. We did it. We've reached the last game on this list, and what better way to close it off than Pokemon Go. This was such an iconic game that it got the entire world to step outside at one point. So after years, I went out for a walk in the neighborhood to catch some Pokemon. Dude, it is like an absolutely beautiful day out to play Pokemon Go. Alright, so I just parked at the library because there's a gym here. And there's some like Pokemons here, as you can see, and I'm gonna probably just sit here and catch them. I already went on my walk. I like walked for a bit and I did catch some Pokemons earlier, but I don't know, I just kind of felt weird just walking around with like 2 phones, because one is recording and the other one is playing Pokemon Go. So I didn't want to be weird. Like, why is this guy walking around the neighborhood with 2 phones out? So I'm the only one in this raid right now, and I don't really know how it works, because it's quite literally been like 3 or 4 years since I played this game. I'm pretty sure I just like tap, like I'm just tapping it aggressively. Oh, it's low-key kind of crushing me right now. It's not looking good. No. We got a Laren. I don't know if we're going to be able to defeat this Carbinks. Oh, we only have 20 seconds left in the raid. Yep, it's over. I got cooked at that gym. Although it is really nice to see others all around me still playing this game after all of these years, so 4 stars. This is the closest we're getting to Pokemon in real life. And that wraps up our final category, the miscellaneous games. The ones that didn't quite fit anywhere else but still found a place in our phones. But out of all of them, I have to give the trophy to BitLife. It keeps you engaged in an unhinged life simulator and the choices are endless. And there you have it. I played 100 mobile games from my childhood. From flashing fruits to flaying birds to raiding bases and building virtual bakeries, this was a journey through time. And after all those games and all of those ads, the old mobile games that still hold up today are... Wait, hold on. I only played 99 games. Alright, so the other Slender Man game didn't work, but this one I also played and it's also super old, so we're gonna play this one instead. Let's see, play free edition. Day or night mode. I feel like we gotta go with night mode to get the scary ambience. Let's go. All I remember is I need to find the signs. Oh my gosh. This is so creepy. Is there a sign here? Hello? Hey, editing snow, can you put some happy music over this so the viewers aren't scared as well? I think there are 8 signs that we need to find. Where do I go? Oh, what was that? Y'all heard that, right? What the heck? Okay. Oh, we'll go this way then. If he doesn't want us to go that way. Oh, I see an arrow. Oh, does that sound? I don't like that. Oh, there it is. 1 sign found. I don't know where I'm going right now, but I'm like, oh! Oh! We run. Oh yes, another arrow. Close. There it is. You will end now. That's 2 signs found. Oh! There he was. I'm running this way. Oh! Go this way. I go here. Been here. This is where we found that second sign. Let's go through here though. Oh, what's over here? Ooh. We'll go this way. I do not see it. Oh, we're dead. We are dead. We are dead. Oh! Yo, he's still following me. Oh nah, I need to walk past you, bro. Let me through. You then. You gone? Yes. This is your own fault. Or baby. Oh! No! Oh my god! He got me. Oh, dude, I am sweating so much right now. Hello, if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other videos, like and subscribe and all that. It took me a long time to make it. Thank you.